This is the Picture This Photography podcast where we talk about all things photography, and today's a very special day because, Tony, it's time for the 2019 Pixel Awards. We need award show music.
This is the most prestigious of all camera awards.
According to
us.
Yes.
We're going to be covering the camera of the year, the drone of the year, the lens of the year, but also the broken promise of the year, the flop of the year, and the WTF of the year.
It's sad.
But first, a word from our sponsor, Squarespace.
Yes, whether you want your own website or portfolio like Tony and I have, you can make it happen with Squarespace. It's super easy. If you can drag and drop, you can make your very own portfolio. Just go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea to get 10% off. And those links are down below in the description. Thanks, Squarespace.
As a reminder, we don't take advertising from camera or lens manufacturers. We are free to express our own opinions, and that's what we're doing here. None of this is sponsored. 2018 was a big year for releasing cameras with the new Nikon Z and the Canon R mounts, but it kind of seems like they rushed them out. And then 2019 became a big year for releasing firmware updates that fixed problems or added features that maybe they should have had to begin with. All the major manufacturers released huge firmware updates, something they hadn't done before, so we're going to pick the firmware update of the year. The first nominee is Canon, which added eye detect autofocus to the EOS R. It went from being completely unusable to being pretty good, especially in video. It's something we use for video all the time, and even with shallow depth of field, it works well. Thank you, Canon.
Sony gave us animal eye focus.
Wow.
Yes. That was an impressive firmware update.
It didn't work great for us, but other people got it to work. They blamed our dogs as being defective dogs.
Our dogs do suck.
Yeah. The winner, though, goes to Nikon for releasing firmware updates for the Z6 and Z7, adding in IAF, which they did not previously have. The feature is now not perfect, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, that was an exciting firmware update.
Yeah,
it was suddenly get something amazing.
Yeah, a feature that they hadn't promised it or anything. It just kind of came out of the blue. Thank you, Nikon.
All right, smartphone camera of the year. I think this is an exciting one because we're all taking pictures with our smartphones. And the nominee is the iPhone 11 Pro.
That's what I personally use, and it has been amazing. The wide-angle camera on it is fantastic. The night photography uses computational photography, and I can make clear pictures of the stars or low-light selfies with friends in bars. I absolutely love it, but it didn't win.
No, I mean, you put the iPhone 11 Pro up against the winner, and that is the Pixel 4. The Google Pixel 4 created better images. It has an amazing camera. And if you want a Google Pixel, you're in luck.
Yeah, the bokeh on it, like the fake bokeh, works out better. The astrophotography is better. It's a little bit better than the iPhone. I'm still going to use an iPhone because I like iMessage and AirDrop, and I'm just in that whole Apple world. But the camera, just talking about the camera, better.
Tony, let's talk about the biggest broken promise of the year.
I'm a nerd, so when camera companies announce that something really cool is coming, I get excited. I'm like, okay, when? I want to play with this. When? And a couple of camera companies just left us hanging.
They left you hanging. So we have a nominee, April 2019. Tony, tell me where you were, what you were feeling.
I was excited for the Sharp 8K camera. Now, this is weird because Sharp doesn't make cameras, right? But they announced a Micro Four Thirds camera that was going to record 8K. And then they put it in the hands of a bunch of testers who went out and recorded videos with it. And that was the last we heard of it.
I'd like to know the behind the scenes on this one.
Where is it? I reached out to them a couple of times because I was interested.
They're like, this nerd Tony Northrup won't stop calling us.
He's like the only person who cares.
How do you get my personal cell phone number? Okay, February 2019, another broken promise. Tony?
This one really broke my heart because Zeiss, an incredibly well-historied company, promised a camera that was going to have like Lightroom and apps built into it. They demoed it. It looked fantastic. It was like everything I'd been asking for, but then it never came to be.
Did you write them?
I did, and they don't even write back. Like, where's my camera, Zeiss? I'll buy one.
That's so sad. This is a big one, lens of the year, because we had a lot of lenses this year. It was tough to choose. There are a lot of good lenses this year. So let's go through them.
This lens, the Nikon 24-70 f2.8 for the Z mount, was amazing. The Z mount really needed some serious pro lenses, and when I tested it, I was like, this is the best 24-70 f2.8 we've ever used.
It's encouraging because we saw that lens map, and you wonder what's going to happen, and they delivered. This is An incredible lens. So that's a nominee, not a winner.
Similar, Canon announced the 24-70 f2.8 IS for their Canon R mount. All around an excellent lens, and it's the first time Canon has done a 24-70 f2.8 with IS, so that's a big deal. Great, we're excited to see that.
Another nominee is the Sony 200-600 lens, which was exciting for me because we do wildlife, so we were really excited about this one too. It's somewhat compact for a wildlife lens, and it was extremely sharp. So good job, Sony.
Yeah, it changed our recommendations. Now we can recommend cameras like the Sony a6100 or a6400 for people who want to do wildlife.
Another nominee is the Sony 600mm lens, another fantastic lens, massive, sharp, impressive, and another game changer because now we could use the A9 or the A9 II for wildlife, which we previously felt we could not do. And so that's another lens that changed our recommendations.
This is what pushed you over the edge to get you to switch from Nikon to Sony.
Yes, I was previously shooting the Nikon D850 with the Nikon 600mm lens. And now actually I have not bought this lens yet, but I moved to the Sony A7R4.
Yeah, I check and it's like not readily available yet.
No. But it's $13,000, so I'm sorry,
know,
Tony,
it's a
but
little like-
I am putting your organs on the black market because I need it.
I've been using the Canon 85mm f1.2 for their R mount to film our videos, and it's amazing. I also shot a bunch of portraits with it. It works well. It's incredibly sharp. I had lusted over the 85mm f1.2 EF lens for like a decade, a really old lens, and then I finally rented it last year, and it was terrible. Just optically a terrible lens. But this lens is great. It's faster than any other 85 out there, which means it produces images you couldn't make with any other camera. It's a big deal, but it's not the winner. It's just a nominee.
Okay, are we getting to the winner? The lens of the year.
The Canon 70-200 f2.8. And it's a very standard lens. Everyone has it in their portfolio. But the reason we wanted to give it the lens of the year is because it's about like 2/3 the size of every other 70-200.
It's tiny.
And for me, it's a small thing, but to be able to carry that in your bag a little bit easier, every professional photographer who will use this will be so thankful for that. And every time we travel, I debate about bringing our 70-200 because it's so big in the bag, and I often end up leaving it behind. But with it being half the size, that would be the difference between me taking it and leaving it behind.
Okay.
A big innovation from Canon. Thank you.
Okay, Tony, you made this category, and I find it interesting. The most WTF camera. What you thinking on this one?
I may be the only person who cares about this, but sometimes I look at new cameras and I think, what were they thinking? WTF are they thinking?
You should write them, see if they respond to you.
I'm a huge fan of Fuji, but the X Pro 3 almost makes sense to me. The X Pro 3 is Fuji's top-of-the-line X-mount camera, and they wanted to make something unique that had like a film-like quality. So they gave it this special screen at the back, which in its normal configuration just shows you your film speed, almost like the little piece of cardboard that you tear off your film box and put in the back of a film camera. But then it flips down to show like a regular live view screen. And I feel like they just needed to go all the way and not give us a rear screen, because there is merit in cameras that don't give you that sort of preview. But by making a rear screen that simply hides away, you've done nothing to distinguish it from every flip screen camera out there like the Canon EOS R, where you can just flip the screen and hide it. So it's an optionally hidden screen. I just feel like Fuji couldn't go all the way and commit to an interesting screenless camera. And as a result, I was like, WTF, this doesn't make sense.
Oh, I understand their decision, though. That's a tough plunge to take.
Yeah, but I think all or nothing, jump in.
Okay.
The most WTF camera of the year is a camera you probably haven't heard of. It's the Sigma FP. Sigma, a lens manufacturer, decided to make the world's smallest full-frame camera, and that's interesting. A lot of people would want that, especially consumers. And they kind of made a consumer camera. They gave it these very consumerish features for making portraits and such, but then they didn't give it a grip or sensor stabilization. So Canon makes a compact full-frame camera, and it's $1,000 now.
Yeah.
Sigma decided to charge $2,200. But they did this by trying to market it as a video camera, but it's still got a bunch of consumer still camera features. And also it uses the very unusual Sigma mount, which no filmmaker would have lenses for. It just ultimately made no sense to me. It felt like they decided to engineer a consumer camera, and then at the last minute decided they would make more money if they called it a video camera, but then they didn't fully commit to making it a justifiable video camera that anybody really wants, and it seems to have disappeared. I never hear anything about it.
All right. This is a big one. Drone of the year. It seems like everyone's droning now, especially us. We just drone on and on, don't we, Tony?
Yeah, and there's not a lot of competition this year. They're just
No.
DJI has mostly obliterated other drone companies, and so it pretty much goes to the Mavic Mini almost by default as being the only drone that really came out and is available to consumers. The Mavic Mini is good, and at $400, that's pretty amazing. You should still wait for my review before buying it because it blows away. It blows away in the wind all the time. Just regular wind on still days. It won't come back. That kind of sucks.
But it's here. It must have come back.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
All right. Coming up, we're going to be talking about the big prize, the best camera of the year, the most innovative camera of the year, and also, sadly, we'll be talking about the flop of the year. But first, we want to take a moment to talk about something that's not a flop, and that's my portfolio on Squarespace. If you don't want people to just see your photos chronologically, like on social media, you want them to see your best photos first. You want them to know your pricing. You want them to be able to contact you. If they seriously want to hire you, you need your own Squarespace portfolio, and you can get it for free for 14 days. No credit card needed. You don't have to remember to cancel. That's stressful. Just make it. See your photos. Pick your most beautiful ones. Learn what type of photographer you are. And if you decide to buy one, you can get 10% off. Go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea.
Thanks, Squarespace. If you're just tuning in, these are the 2019 Pixel Awards, where we recognize the best and the worst of the camera industry in the year 2019. Now, the most innovative camera. There's no extra nominees, just one winner, because really I only handled one camera that felt innovative to me, and that was the Olympus EM1X. A very unusual camera, but Olympus added in a bunch of computational photography features, stuff we'd only seen in smartphones, moved into real cameras. And
That's exciting.
they were powerful enough that in our real testing, it allowed the Olympus with its tiny Micro Four Thirds sensor to outperform full-frame cameras in a variety of different situations. I was genuinely impressed with it, and I really appreciate Olympus for doing something new and bringing innovation to the table.
Disappoint of the year.
Yeah. This one, I was so excited for the Peak Design tripod.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. It's got a really cool design where it folds up even smaller. It's got that cool carbon fiber look, and like everything Peak Design has been pretty cool. So we were very excited to review this tripod.
Yep. And we turned down a sponsorship because we wanted to test it first. Then they sent it to us, and spoiler alert, we didn't end up taking a sponsorship because we didn't feel like we could endorse it. It has some serious design flaws to it.
It still looks cool.
Yeah.
It does fold up small.
And they sold it for, I think, $600 a pop and raised like $10 million on Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. It was unbelievably successful.
Very successful.
For a tripod that we did not like at all. We took it to Iceland. We each brought our own tripod.
I didn't.
Yeah, you're right. You brought the Manfrotto B-Free.
I'm a sensible woman.
And I brought this tripod. And in the end, we decided just to share the Manfrotto B-Free, and we just left the Peak Design in the car. Like, it was not worth carrying.
I mean, okay, we decided, all right, let's get personal here with our marriage. You tried this thing. I was like, are you sure you want to bring it to Iceland? You don't like it. And then by the end of the trip, you were like, can I please just share your tripod?
I really wanted to like it. And I thought if I just spent enough time with it, I'll work around its quirks, and I didn't. The head does not allow you to freely rotate when the camera's in the vertical position. If you want to move the head at all, you have to raise the entire center column, which makes the whole thing a little bit weak. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't feel good in the hands. It feels plasticky. It literally made me bleed at one point. It's
so sad. So a lot of people liked it, though.
Yes.
And now you went full bougie and we got Gitzo.
Yeah, they convinced me that I was willing to spend more on a tripod, but that just was not the one.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about camera of the year. We've broken this into different price points. So our first camera of the year category is under $1,000. Let's look at the nominees.
The Canon SL3, Canon's compact DSLR. It's tough to call it the camera of the year because it's an old school SLR in a mount that Canon's probably abandoning. The Fujifilm X-A7, which is an excellent compact mirrorless camera, and a camera I would certainly recommend to people looking for their first camera, but it didn't really bring too much new.
Another nominee is the Canon M6 Mark II.
And a good all-around camera, an amount that hasn't been extremely popular, though. We tested both the A6100 and A6400 from Sony. They were great all-around cameras. They have autofocus that outperforms anything else in the market. The eye detect works great, but neither of them actually won Camera of the Year. The Nikon Z50, kind of an unusual looking camera with its tiny body and big, huge mount, but it provided Nikon a lower entry-level price point for the new Z mount system.
Yes, that's also a nominee. And the winner of the Camera of the Year for under $1,000 is the Fuji X-T30.
Just a camera that I like handling, a camera that generally works pretty well and fits into the Fuji infrastructure where they have just a lot of great X-mount lenses. That's really why it beats Nikon and Canon and even Sony.
Yeah, what's not to like? They look great, they work well, they have great glass, they're fun to use. Congratulations.
Congrats,
X-T30.
Fuji.
Okay, now Camera of the Year for $1,000 to $2,000. Let's look at the nominees. So the first nominee is the Sony A6600.
Great camera, but at $1,400, it feels awfully close to the $1,800 Sony A7 III now.
Yeah.
But also a great camera. The next nominee is the Canon 90D mid-level DSLR. We use the 70D and the 80D, and they're all great. The 90D is also great, but it doesn't bring too much new.
And the Camera of the Year for the $1,000 to $2,000 price range is the Canon EOS RP.
Yeah, for a full-frame camera that's now selling for $999, but the MSRP is $1,200, it's great. And it's bringing a sensor that's more than twice as big as the other cameras, and it's fitting into the Canon EOS R growing lineup of high-quality glass. It's actually a really good value.
All right, things are getting a little somber around here. We're going to talk about the flop of the year, which is surprising to me because it won another category.
There was so much buildup for this camera. I even think the company really needed this camera to succeed and kind of turn things around, and it's a little bit of a bummer, but it has to go to the Olympus EM1X.
So what happened here? Walk me through this, Northrup, because this was your most innovative camera of the year, and now it's also the flop of the year.
I liked a lot about the camera, but the Micro Four Thirds community almost universally rejected it because Olympus has been known for making small, compact, inexpensive cameras, and they turned around and made a massive camera, and they wanted $3,000 for it.
It's very expensive, yeah.
And their innovations were all the software-based stuff that I talked about earlier. They kept the same old sensor, the same old viewfinder. Really, there was almost no new parts to it. And reviewers kind of mirrored those same sentiments. It wasn't enough to take on the cameras like the Canon 1DX that it was supposed to take on. Like, it didn't focus well enough. And if you look at Google Trends data to see generally how many people are searching for the camera, it doesn't even rank at Google Trends. Like, Google does not even recognize the name of the camera as a camera. That's how wildly unpopular it's been. And on Amazon, there were other cameras released at the same time that have, 250 reviews, 300 reviews, 500 reviews. It has 4 reviews on Amazon. It's not a love it or hate it kind of thing. It's just nobody is aware. Nobody cares.
It didn't quite have a niche.
Yeah.
It didn't have a little spot to exist in.
Olympus bet big and it didn't work out.
Okay, this is the big award here. This is Camera of the Year for $2,000 and up. The nominees are the Panasonic S1, the Panasonic S1R, and the Panasonic S1H.
Similar cameras, all capable cameras, a brand new lens mount. We're still kind of waiting for things to fill out. Interesting cameras. Not the winners.
Another nominee is the Leica SL2.
Yeah, also an L-mount camera, an interesting camera, but not a huge step up from the original SL.
No, not like groundbreaking, but a great camera. Another nominee, this one is the Olympus EM1X.
Yeah, we talked about it a couple of times, a good all-around camera.
Not popular, but another nominee is the Sony A9 II. This is a camera that we have our hands on right now that we're testing. It's a great camera. It's an incredible camera for wildlife and for sports.
But still just kind of a very minor incremental improvement, not something that rocked our world.
The runner-up is the Fujifilm GFX 100, and what does this have, 100 megapixels? This can produce insane photos.
Yeah, at $10,000, it's really the top-end camera you can buy for image quality, and the GFX lens mount is continuing to grow. It's a pretty amazing camera, but at the same time, it's so big and expensive that it hasn't had a kind of a deep impact on the community.
It's niche-y.
Yeah.
And out of reach,
Right. But
though impressive.
very interesting and impressive. The Camera of the Year award goes to the Sony A7R Mark IV, a good all-around camera that both you and I decided we would adopt as our main daily cameras.
Yeah.
Portraits, landscapes, wildlife, even some sports. It's kind of the camera that can do it all. It's not a huge upgrade from the A7R Mark III, but it fixes some important things like improving the grip, improving the weather sealing, improving the viewfinder, all stuff that we genuinely appreciate.
Highest megapixel full frame camera on the list.
Yeah, the image
The
quality
resolution
amazing.
is amazing. Yeah, I used it to make a huge print. Came out really beautiful. So congratulations, Sony, to the A7R4 winner of the Pixel Award. If only we really had that golden statue to send.
Next year we'll actually make one.
What do you think? Would that be your camera of the year choice, or is there something else that you like better? Did we miss any cameras and lenses? Were there any innovations that we should have been aware of? Tripods, bags, something else? Let us know in the comments down below, and we'll have something to think about for next year's Pixel Awards.
I'd also like to hear what people are upset or disappointed about. What do you think flopped this year?
Don't get them upset. They scare me when they're upset. All right, we'll see you all next week. If you want to know more about the Pixel This Photography podcast, you can subscribe and you can see every episode and you can just feel loved and warm and fuzzy. Thank you, Squarespace, for making this episode possible. If you'd like your very own Squarespace website or portfolio, you can try it for free. What do you have to lose other than a couple of minutes? Go to squarespace.com/Chelsea, and if you decide you'd like to buy it, use the coupon code Chelsea. You can get 10% off. That's just smart. That's just saving money.
Thanks, Squarespace.